Good evening. I'd like to call the City Council meeting to order. Is there any public comment for closed session? I don't have any speaker slips. I don't see anybody on Zoom. Madam City Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. We have one item on the closed session agenda, conference with real property negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. The property APN 0292-166-080000. That's the Grove School Agency Negotiators, Charles M. Duggan, City Manager, and Christopher Boatman, Assistant City Manager. Negotiating parties, Dr. Michelle Sweezey, Head of School in the Grove School. Under negotiation, terms of possible property transfer to the Grove School.
Thank you. We'll recess the City Council meeting to closed session. Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to reconvene the City Council meeting and ask for our invocation by Council Member Tejeda. And then after that, our Pledge of Allegiance by our Mission Elementary School students.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you would indulge me in this, please bow your heads as we remember the lives that have departed from our communities across the world, the Brown University students, people at Bondi Beach, some public safety officers that also will not be returning to their families, lost their lives in the line of duty. Lord, we come together today to do the business of the community, but we do so with heavy hearts, remembering the people that have lost their lives recently. And we send our heartfelt condolences to the families, everyone affected. We also want to mention the Redlands family that was targeted this weekend, shamelessly. We think about them. We think about our world and the situation that we're in, the times that we're in, the challenges that we have at this moment. And it is in times like this that we need to look to each other and see a fellow human being, a fellow person. And we look at each other and we understand that we have differences, and that's okay. It's what makes humanity so special, our differences. But it's how we resolve those differences that make us even better people. Rushing to commit a horrific crime is not the answer. And so I pray that everyone in this room, everyone who's listening to us on Zoom, if they're participating, that they reach to their creator or the person or the being that they believe in and ask for mercy and God's grace to be upon us, and that we may someday soon heal those wounds that divide us. I pray for our public safety officers that are out on duty and with us here today, that they may make it home. The police and fire who put their lives on the line every day. And for our general employees as well, who do the work that is required to keep this community going and flowing, that they also may be protected. But also everyone in this room, everyone who's listening, and everyone who gets to see this recording in the future, that they be touched in some way and feel the same way about others. Amen.
Okay. It's on? Yes. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are...
Take a little step forward. Step forward for me. Be all on one line. One more. One more. Step.
No matter where I sit. No matter where I sit. Request to bring them all this size, please. Right, Mario?
Squeeze in between you guys here. Okay.
There we go.
Hey, parents, your turn. Go ahead, shout out what school you're from. Mission Elementary. All right, good job, guys.
Okay.
Right? Before we get into our public comment, I have a request to pull two items on the consent calendar. One is item H4 by Councilmember Davis and H13.
I move we accept the balance.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I was just giving them time to get out. Now our closed session report, Madam City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. There was one item on the closed session agenda. There was no reportable action for that item, and just for the record, Councilmember Davis was absent from closed session. That ends the closed session report.
Thank you. We'll now continue on to item G on our agenda. I have two speaker slips. Joshua Hall.
I want to talk about the horrific mass shooting in Bondi Beach, Australia, that was carried out by father and son Islamic jihadists. The father was in Pakistan, his son was Australian born. They both pledged fidelity and loyalty to ISIS. Banning guns is not going to solve these mass shootings. What will solve these mass shootings is strictly limiting who can immigrate to America and other Western countries from foreign countries. We are importing people from foreign countries that are openly hostile to America and to other Western countries like Australia. Australia is part of the West. We're importing people who are hostile to us. They seek to do us harm and eradicate us. So banning guns is not going to solve the problem. In fact, more crime is committed with axes and machetes in Australia and in Europe, all across Europe, than with guns because they've banned guns. Europe is not majority. Most countries in Europe they're not majority European anymore. They're mostly African migrant people from Southeast Asia and Middle East, and violent crime is going up over there. It's going to go up over here. I also want to talk about how green energy is a massive failure. Chevron this week pulled out of California completely and moved to Texas because of Gavin Newsom's insane business tax regulations. California now has to import oil from Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, China, Dubai, and other countries that hate us. And if they don't want to give us oil, we're screwed. Also, Arizona and Nevada, who depend on oil from California by 88%, are also screwed. So those states are also screwed. I ask Redlands to stand up to Gavin Newsom in Sacramento and the UN and WEF and reject green energy policies.
Next public speaker is Mr. Peter Hall.
Talk about the attack on the Redlands resident a couple of days ago, the homeowner, because he and his family are Jewish. I'd like to point out that the person who did this shouted, "Free Palestine," and yet they're considered anti-Semitic, even though the people in Palestine, the Arabs in Palestine, are also considered Semitic. So whoever did this is not anti-Semitic because they think they're defending other Semitic peoples who are in conflict with the nation of Israel. So these people are not anti-Semitic, whoever did this. They just hate the nation of Israel and they hate the Jews. But because they're siding with the Palestinians, they're not anti-Semitic. Most of the anti-Semitic attacks against Jewish people are carried out by people who are Islamic, either converts or who were born into the religion because they're Muslim, because they're Arab and Muslim. But somehow it always gets blamed on white people and white supremacy. So I just wanted to talk about that.
Okay, again, pulling on the consent calendar. I have no more public speakers. I don't see anybody on Zoom. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Before we get into our discussion on the consent calendar, I'd like to have our city manager introduce our new interim Public Works Municipal Utilities Director, Mr. Ray Casey.
Mayor, members of the council, we are very pleased to be able to have someone of Ray's caliber come and help us for the next few months while we search for our next municipal utility and engineering director. He has a wealth of experience throughout government, but certainly more than enough to be able to help us with this area. We've got a great staff in that department. They're quite busy and they stay busy. So we certainly are very pleased that we were able to bring in an extra person to help them through the next busy months. We've got some big projects coming up. So thank you, May. Thank you, Ray. And also I wanted to mention this is the last meeting for Brian Desatnik. Brian served us for 8 years now, I think. 8.5 years. And Brian will be retiring at the end of the month. So we certainly want to bid him a fond farewell. Happy Hanukkah. And just want to thank him publicly for all the work that he's done here in Redlands over the last 8.5 years.
Okay, getting back to the consent items pulled is H4, Councilmember Davis. And then we have also H13. And then Mr. Bruce Laycock, which item did you want? 10, okay. And then H10 will be pulled as well.
I move we accept the balance of the consent calendar.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second on the balance of the consent calendar. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Saucedo.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item H4. This is approval of recommendation for the appointments of Rosa Dominguez, Alicia Gillenhammer, Kawa Swash, and Kara Shaw to the Planning Commission. This is Mayor Saucedo and Mayor Pro Tem, but I'll turn it over to Councilmember Davis.
Thanks so much. As I was reading through the agenda, and I know that we've been going through some changes recently. We used to have a system where the mayor solely recommended for the Planning Commission, and then we would vote on it. Now it's the mayor and the mayor pro tem who make up an ad hoc committee, and it sounds like they've done interviews this time around. And at this point, I think it's a really important point in terms of where we're at with a big ordinance, right? We just recently discussed passing a warehouse ban that needs to go back to the Planning Commission and come back to us. So it's an interesting time to be adding 3 new planning commissioners, especially when we have 2 current commissioners who applied for reappointment and only one of them was reappointed. And I think it's hard for the rest of the council who is not privy to those conversations in the interviews. But I think a particular challenge with this new process is when I'm looking through the applications, I don't see the applications of the potential returning commissioners. So those applications in our staff report from all of the new applicants. And so I don't feel like I can vote tonight on this, given I don't have all of the information that I would like to have.
Okay. Assistant City Manager Janice McConnell, I know that we did requested and received the applications of the two requesting to be reappointed.
Yes, I believe we provided their original applications to both the subcommittee members.
Right, but I think that's a challenge. So we're missing the applications from Kara Shaw and Matt Ensley, the current commissioners who reapplied, who now have 4 more years of experience under their belt that they could have written about in those applications, which I think makes them particularly strong candidates for reappointment. So I think we need to change the system going forward. I'm struggling. Right, but Matt is not. So yeah, I think it's a problem in the system. I think that everyone should be given the same opportunity to submit an application, and we should have the ability to review all of the applications before taking a vote.
We can make sure that we get all the applications in the future. Yeah. And supply them to the council.
Now, did Matt reapply?
Yes, and so I'll just explain the process a little bit. There were 11 applications, 6 new interviewee applications, and 2 incumbents. And Mark and I did a 2-day interview process, interviewing all the applicants, and came to the decision that with the ones that are here listed, felt that they would be a good fit for our planning commission moving forward. And so we did interview both Ensley and Kara. So that's the recommendation before us.
I'm satisfied with the recommendation, Mayor. I'll support the recommendation that you both have made. I understand that you are, both of you have taken time to assess everyone that has applied, and I just want to defer to your process, and so I will do that.
You have the motions?
I have the motion right here.
Okay. You want to make the motion?
Oh, well, is there any comment on it, or?
Any more comments? I don't have any public speaker slips. Nobody on Zoom? Okay.
My name is Bruce Laycook. Good evening, council members and city staff. The last name of one of the planning commissioners is the same as the last name of Mark Shaw. Are they related? Okay, that was my only question.
And I'm not related to her husband either, so.
No, that's fine. No, it was a simple question, but one I
would have
wanted.
recused myself if that was the case, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Good question, though.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay. If there's no other debate on this, then I move to appoint Rosa Dominguez to serve a 4-year term on the Planning Commission beginning January 7, 2026 and ending January 6, 2030. I move to appoint Alicia Gillenhammer to serve a 4-year term on the Planning Commission January 7, 2026 and ending January 6, 2030. I move to appoint Kawa Swaish to serve a 4-year term on the Planning Commission beginning January 7th, 2026 and ending January 6, 2030. And I move to reappoint Kara Shaw to serve a 3-year term on the Planning Commission ending January 6, 2029.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
And Mayor Saucedo.
Yes. Now moving on to item H10, approve the First Amendment to the agreement with KNN Public Finance LLC to extend the term of the agreement to October 2027 to allow for continued financial advisory services, management services, and Finance Director Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. The item before you is the First Amendment to our agreement with our municipal advisor, KNN Public Finance. The First Amendment to this agreement will extend its term by 18 months and also will provide an updated fee schedule, the details of which are included in the staff report. And if there are any questions, staff is available.
Any questions for Director Garcia from the council? I have one speaker slip, Mr. Bruce Laycook.
Hello again. The reason I wanted to speak to this in particular is putting contract extensions on the consent calendar where there's no public conversation about why the contract is being extended and why the 20% increase in the fee schedule, which I went through and I read it and I found out what that was, but I don't think approving a 20% increase in an existing contract without any conversation among the council members or explaining that to the public is a good practice. And I would encourage you not to do that with agenda items like this going forward. Thank you.
Any other questions or comment? I don't have any speaker slips other than Mr. Laycook. I don't see anybody on Zoom. What's the wish of the council?
I do have one quick question. What was the justification? I've got to admit, 20% is quite a large increase.
It is. So when we looked at this, our original agreement was established in April of 2021. There's been a fair amount of inflation since that date, and we've had these fees locked in for 5 years. We're coming up in April, the agreement is set to expire. And what I'm wanting to do is that's going to be in the middle of our debt financing for Safety Hall. If we undertake this debt financing with this company, which I recommend, we'll need to continue their services for this foreseeable future for another 12 months at least from that point. So all that to say, our fees are good through 2026, April 2026. What we're doing is we're revising them to reflect basically 5 years worth of inflation, 5 years worth of cost increases, and it doesn't make sense to go with another company if we're in the middle of a debt financing. So they've held their fees for us pretty constant for the last 5 years. And if you look at it, if you do a year-over-year increase for 5 years, 3% times 5 is 15, and another 5% would be 20. So we're pretty comfortable with the rates.
Right, okay. But I wanted to make sure the public understood this was a 5-year period. It just wasn't 1 year and we jumped it up after 1 year.
Right. I also want to point out, because it was brought up, that the actual lump sum fees, the transaction type fees and the fee ranges themselves have not changed by 20%. Most of them are relatively the same, and those are going to be what we're engaging the firm for, not so much their hourly fees.
And I do concur. We have a lot of things coming up in the next 24 months for that matter, so.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. You had your opportunity.
I didn't know she was going to tell you something that is not factually accurate.
Mr. Laycook, public comment is over. I think it's now the council deliberation.
If everyone's commentary
Certainly,
is...
Mr. Laycook can call my office and we can talk about anything he finds that's not factual, and make sure that either the correct information went to the council, we'll update you if it wasn't, or make sure he has the correct information.
So Mr. Laycock, you'll check with the city manager, right, for this? Great, thank you.
But staff does stand by the information that they give us, correct?
We do.
Thank you very much. I move the approval of the First Amendment to the agreement with KNN Public Finance, LLC.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Sessler.
Yes. Moving on to item H13, approve a memorandum of understanding with Redlands Chamber Foundation recommended by the Parks and Rec Advisory Commission, authorizing enhancements within a parcel described as APN 0170-142-12-0000 and determination that the approval agreement is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA Guidelines pursuant to Section 15061, Facilities and Community Services Director Crocker.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The Redlands Chamber Leadership Group back in July of this year conducted a presentation to the city's Park and Recreation Commission for the development and installation of a native garden on city property. The commission recommended that the city staff work with the group to determine an appropriate location for this partnership. The MOU for city council's consideration attached to this report establishes the native garden to be placed on a vacant parcel, which is adjacent to Sylvan Park. Through this MOU, the leadership group proposes to enhance the area with plantings, irrigation, pavers, DG, and educational signage. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the council for staff? If not, I have 4 speaker slips on this item. We'll start with Evan Sanford. I shuffled them, so no, not really.
Good evening, council, chiefs, and staff. I'm Evan Sanford, Executive Director of the Redlands Chamber of Commerce and Chamber of Commerce Foundation, and the Leadership Redlands Class of 2025 regarding the item before you tonight, which is the approval of an MOU allowing for the construction and maintenance of their service project. Each year, Leadership Redlands challenges its participants not only to learn about the community, but to give back in a meaningful and lasting way. Previous classes have produced the Greetings from Redlands mural and the planting of trees outside Ligonia Elementary. This year's class selected a service project that reflects stewardship and sustainability, and that's the creation of a native plant garden, only made possible with this proposed partnership. The class of 2025 has dedicated significant time, planning, coordination, and hands-on effort to ensure that this garden serves the community for years to come. And this project highlights sustainable landscaping, environmental education, and biodiversity while honoring the unique characteristics of Redlands. The MOU before you formalizes the collaboration between the city and the Chamber Foundation, providing the framework needed to move this project forward responsibly and successfully. City staff have been instrumental in guiding this effort, offering expertise, support, and coordination, and we would not be here without them. Finally, Leadership Redlands is a Chamber Foundation program built on strong public-private partnerships, and our relationship with the City of Redlands is central to its success. We are very grateful for the city's continued trust and collaboration, and for recognizing the importance of developing informed, engaged, and civically minded leaders, one of which was just appointed to the Planning Commission, Alicia Gillenhammer. On behalf of the Chamber Foundation and the Leadership Redlands Class of 2025, thank you for your partnership, your support, and your consideration of this MOU as we continue investing in projects that reflect pride, purpose, and the future of this community. Thank you.
Next speaker is Jacqueline Ryan. Is that correct? Reagan, I'm sorry. Reagan.
Good evening, Chiefs, Council, and staff. I'm Jacqueline Reagan. I'm a part of our leadership class of 2025. I want to begin by sincerely thanking each of you for your time, your leadership, and your continued commitment to our community. We are truly grateful for the opportunity and consideration to begin our community service project. Your support reflects a shared belief in investing in our residents, strengthening community partnerships, and creating meaningful, long-term benefits for those we serve. This project represents more than just a native plant garden. It represents a common goal of making our city more connected. We appreciate the confidence you've shown in allowing us to take the next steps. That trust is not taken lightly. Our team is fully committed for the responsibility of this project. This project also gives us the ability to give back in a tangible way by enhancing resources, supporting community engagement, and creating positive impacts that residents can see and feel. We believe it will serve as a foundation for continued growth and collaboration moving forward. On behalf of our team, thank you again for your partnership and support. We're excited about what lies ahead and look forward to working closely with you to ensure this project is a success for our community. And thank you for your time and consideration.
Next speaker is Christina Condina.
Good evening. My name is Christina Cadena, and I'm part of the Leadership Redlands class of 2025. I want to start by thank you for your support and considering the MOU that formalizes this collaboration. I want to briefly highlight why native plants are such a strong choice for this space. Native plants are adapted to our local climate, meaning they require less water, fewer inputs, and less long-term maintenance. From a city perspective, that makes this a sustainable and cost-conscious enhancement. These plants also provide essential habitat for pollinators like bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, which play a critical role in healthy ecosystems. By planting native species, we're supporting biodiversity while also creating an outdoor space that is educational and meaningful for the community. From a beautification standpoint, this garden will transform underutilized space into something intentional and inviting, with seasonal color, texture, and structure throughout the year. It's designed to be a place where residents can pause, enjoy the landscape, and feel connected to the natural environment. We're grateful for the city's partnership on this project and excited to contribute to something that reflects Redlands' values of sustainability, stewardship, and community collaboration. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker is Tyler Weiner.
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Tyler Weiner, and I'm the fundraising chairman of our leadership class. I'm thrilled to share some exciting news about our recent fundraising efforts. We have successfully raised over $27,000, a testament to the generosity and support of our community. What's even more remarkable is that we received contributions from over 60 donors, ranging from our local residents to individuals across state lines. This broad base of support showcases how our cause resonates far and wide. The substantial funds we raised will allow us to create a native plant garden that is both impactful and respectful at enhancing our community's environment for years to come. We are deeply grateful to each and every donor, and we look forward to making a meaningful impact with these funds. Thank you.
Thank you. I do appreciate the work that's gone into the MOU. There are at least a few components to it that I really agree with, so I want to thank the authors of the MOU and the agreement between both the city and the foundation. So thank you for that. Any other questions or comments?
I think it's great. It's a great idea, very exciting. It's nice that you had a project. When I was in leadership Redlands, we didn't have this ambition. So you guys are moving up.
Yeah, I agree. I applaud the project, and thank you so much for the wonderful public comments and your work on this beautification of Redlands.
So I'll make a motion. I move that the City Council determine that the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding with the Redlands Chamber Foundation is exempt from the California Environment Act guidelines pursuant to Section 15061, and I move the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding with the Redlands Chamber Foundation for the implementation of enhancement within the parcel described as APN 0170-142-12-0000.
Second.
Enough zeros in there?
We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Sessler.
Yes. Moving on to the public hearings, item I-1. This is a public hearing to consider and adopt ordinance number 2997, amending chapters 15.20 of the Redlands Municipal Code and adopting the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code, which incorporates by reference the 2024 International Fire Code with necessary California and the City of Redlands amendments. Fire Chief Sessler.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this is the second part. We introduced this last City Council. So this is the actual adoption of our fire code process that we do every 3 years. We measure the building code. So this is our portion with the fire code. I've got staff here to answer any technical questions, but that'll be in my report.
I declare this a public meeting as an open and public hearing to consider ordinance number 2997, amending chapter 15.20 of the Redlands Municipal Code relating to the adoption of 2025 Fire Code, California Code of Regulations, Title 24, Part 9, including appendices B-BB, C, CC, D, and P by reference and making amendments hereto. Do you want to call your staff to make the report, Chief?
Yeah, this time I'll call Fire Marshal Ben Sanders up.
This is a public hearing, and it's open to the... I called it already. Okay.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and just to give a quick overview of our fire code adoption. We have two public hearings going tonight. This first public hearing focuses a little more on our interior fire protection, so our sprinkler systems. We're a little more strict, a little more protections, and this is what keeps our Redlands community so safe. So recommending this for approval.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the council? Hearing none, seeing none. Are there any comments or questions or testimony from members of the public on this item? Moving on to Madam City Clerk, have we received any written comments?
No written comments received.
I now close the public hearing. What is the wish of the council?
I move to adopt Ordinance 2997.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Saucedo.
Yes. Moving on to item I2, public hearing to consider adopt ordinance number 2998, amending chapter 15.30 of the Redlands Municipal Code and adopting the 2025 edition of the California Wildland-Urban Interface Code, which incorporates by reference the 2024 Wildland-Urban Interface Fire Code with necessary California and City of Redlands amendments. Fire Chief Sessler.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Similar routine business, but this one's a little more unique as this Wildland-Urban Interface Plan hasn't been updated since 2008. So we're just adopting that as part of our fire code, the new 2024 version of it. So.
Okay, thank you. I declare this a public hearing to consider ordinance number 2998, amending chapter 15.30 of the Redlands Municipal Code relating to the adoption of 2025 California Wildland-Urban Interface Code, California Code of Regulations, Title 24, Part 7, including Appendices 8A, by reference and making amendments hereto. Are there any questions or comments from the council? I don't hear. Are there any public comments or testimony from the public? I don't have any written public comments. I don't see any comments on Zoom. Madam City Clerk, have we received any written notices?
No written comments received.
Thank you. I'll now close the public hearing. What's the wish of the council?
I'll move to adopt Ordinance number 2998.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Saucedo.
Yes. Item I3, continued public hearing to consider ordinance number 2993, Ordinance Text Amendment number 370 to update the development standards and design regulations contained in the Redlands Municipal Code Chapter 18.156, Article 7, pertaining to the construction accessory dwelling units, ADUs. This proposal qualifies for exemption of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, pursuant to Section 15282H of the CEQA Guidelines. I now declare this as a public hearing. Development Services Director DeSatnik.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This item is a continuation of the November 8th hearing on the full ordinance proposed for the accessory dwelling units. We continued this at the request of the council to make a relatively small change, but we wanted to just make sure that that change didn't have any legal impacts to with regard to state law. So that's why we requested it be continued. The change basically allows for a 2-story accessory dwelling unit in the rear yard as long as it's set back at least 10 feet from a side property line. The prior version of this that we presented limited it to 16 feet, which is essentially a 1-story structure. So we've made that change, and we're recommending approval of the full ordinance, or placing the ordinance on first reading tonight.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for staff from the City Council?
Just a comment from my colleagues. I think we're getting really ahead when it comes to ADUs and approving of ADUs. I think this facilitates, a big need in our community. So way to go to the council.
Thank you. I don't have any speaker slips on this item, nor do I see any on Zoom. Are there any public comments in the audience? Seeing none, hearing none. Madam City Clerk, have we received any written comments?
No written comments received.
I now close the public hearing. What's the wish of the council?
I move that we introduce ordinance number 2993.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Cecido.
Yes. Moving on to item I4, consideration of a resolution number 8739 for the general plan amendment number 151 to update figure 1-7 truck route map in the City of Redlands 2035 general plan. This proposal qualifies for exemption from environmental review in accordance with section 15061B3, 15308, and 15378B5 of the CEQA Guidelines. I now declare this a public hearing. Development Services Director DeSatnik.
Thank you again. I'm going to invite Brian Foote, our planning manager, to make this presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, council members.
Good evening.
Thank you. Great. So this item is an update to the city's truck route map contained in the general plan. This is the existing truck route map, and the purple lines indicate the existing truck routes. And as you notice, a number of the truck routes pass through residential areas in both North Redlands and South Redlands. And AB 98, Assembly Bill 98, was adopted in 2024. That does a number of things. It addresses what's referred to as 21st century warehouses. It also creates a term warehouse concentration region, which is several cities in Southern California, including Redlands and some surrounding cities and counties. And essentially, it requires an update to the truck route map by January 1st for the cities within the warehouse concentration region. AB 98 also stated some objectives, namely to avoid sensitive receptors as much as possible. Doesn't totally prohibit passing by sensitive receptors. It only requires minimizing exposure to sensitive receptors, such as schools, hospitals, and residences, and minimize impacts generally to residential zones and neighborhoods. Some of the criteria were also changed for truck routes, whereas traditionally truck routes were defined by the ability to carry the weight of large trucks, typically 40 or 50 tons. The criteria changed in terms of now sensitive receptors and avoiding or minimizing exposure to sensitive receptors from passing trucks. Also, the AB 98 criteria encourage maximizing the use of freeways, highways, and major arterials and local collector roads, meaning commercially oriented roads. And also to include community engagement when updating the map. I would note there are a couple of exceptions, not only in the municipal code, but also in federal law. The municipal code notably creates exceptions or exemptions from the requirement to follow a truck route for those vehicles making local deliveries or pickups. It also excludes construction vehicles, utility vehicles performing maintenance, and then, of course, trucks delivering products to specific destinations. Those trucks can always go to their ultimate destination and deviate from a truck route. We completed a public outreach process. We contacted adjacent cities and counties, received some important feedback, so we've made sure that our proposed map, truck route map, aligns with the surrounding agencies, including San Bernardino, Calamasa, and San Bernardino County. We did outreach for tribal governments with no responses. We also contacted Redlands Unified School District and local utilities, and we held 2 open community meetings on October 3rd as well as October 6th of this year. We then finalized the draft truck route map and then presented that for comments and suggestions to the Traffic and Parking Commission on September 25th. We received some important feedback from that commission and made some further refinements to the final map. So So the final recommendations are highlighted on this exhibit. The red lines indicate truck routes that are proposed to be removed and deleted from the map. And as you can see, those pass through predominantly residential neighborhoods in North Redlands as well as South Redlands. And the blue lines indicate future truck routes that we intend to add, which, as you notice, is in the northwest quadrant of Redlands and passes through predominantly commercial and industrial areas. And this is a general overview. We're happy to provide more detail if you have any questions. So the updated truck route map, if approved, would be the exhibit shown on the screen. As amended, the truck route map has the primary roadways and corridors passing through commercial areas or in industrial areas, primarily Northwest Redlands, and then also the major corridors to surrounding jurisdictions. Lagonia Avenue is also Highway 38 that continues into the mountains, so that needs to remain a truck route. And then some other additional truck routes. Again, if there's any questions or you need more detail, we're happy to provide that. The update to the map is exempt from environmental review. There's 3 sections for which this proposal qualifies for exemption. 15061B3, 15308, and 15378B5. And that concludes my presentation. The motion is on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you for all the work. Are there any questions or comments from members of the council?
I do have a question, Mayor, and this is just for the good of the public. This public hearing and what we're asking to adopt mainly applies to logistics trucks, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Only applies to logistics.
All large trucks, heavy trucks, particularly tractor trailers.
So I'm asking that question because I had a question from a resident a while back that asked me about the cement trucks that come by on San Bernardino Avenue, which you're recommending for removal on, it's east of the 210, from east of the 210 basically to the city limits. And so would those types of vehicles, trucks, be excluded from those areas?
Well, construction vehicles going to a construction site in Redlands would not be required to follow the truck route map. The map is intended to address regional traffic, say a tractor trailer going from Bloomington or further west, bypassing the freeways and instead using city streets to pass through the city and then other destinations outside the city, say to Yucaipa or further east.
Yeah.
It's mainly to have those trucks stay on the freeway and use the
I
major
just wanted to make
corridors.
sure I understood a little better so that if I get a question about this in the community, I can answer it appropriately. Thank you.
Thanks so much for the presentation. I think this is, generally speaking, very good, especially around the west side, where there are a lot of houses and apartments. It's good to remove the trucks from those neighborhoods. I did receive a question around one of the recommended future routes, Kansas Street from West State Street to Park Avenue. It directly crosses the Orange Blossom Trail. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that to maybe move that if possible. I mean, I wouldn't want to move it obviously to a residential neighborhood that we're removing. But yeah, just wanted to pose that as a question for consideration.
Maybe the question is recommended. It still has to come to the council for approval. Because right now it's only recommended. It's not.
Your action will approve the map.
The map, right.
The truck route map, yes.
I understand that.
Yes. So
we approve it, it's an approved route.
Okay, so even the blues are approved then, right? Is that what you're saying?
yes, those are recommended for approval. Addition. The Kansas Street segment is adjacent to a warehouse site, basically. And so that route provides more direct access to a freeway ramp and helps avoid I believe it's the Barbara Phelps School, a couple of blocks over.
Thank you.
I don't have any speaker slips on this item. I don't see any on Zoom. Madam City Clerk, have we received any written comments?
No written comments received.
Okay, I now close the public hearing. What's the wish of the council?
I move the City Council approve Resolution Number 8739 and adopt General Plan Amendment Number 151, and further determine that the proposal is exempt from environmental review pursuant to Sections 15061B3, 15308, and 15378B5 of the CEQA Guidelines.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Sesito.
Yes. Thank you. Now move on to item J1, consideration of resolution number 8738, establishing intention to form a climate resilience district, CRD, to establish the Redlands CRD Board, appointment of members to the CRD Board, and determine that adoption of the resolution is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15301, B4, and B5 of the CEQA Guidelines. Management Services and Finance Director Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. This item asks the City Council to consider adopting Resolution 8738, which declares the city's intent to establish a climate resilience district, establishes the CRD Governing Board, and initiates the formal statutory process required under state law. For background, in April of 2022, the City Council unanimously supported in concept the establishment of a tax increment financing district in connection with the University Village area and surrounding sites. At the time, Council directed staff to work with the university and its consultants to advance the analysis, prepare necessary documentation, and engage the county regarding potential participation. Since then, Climate Resilience District was created under Senate Bill 852 in 2022. It's a state-authorized form of enhanced infrastructure financing. It allows local governments to capture a portion of future property tax increment generated by new development and to reinvest those funds into eligible infrastructure and climate resilience projects. Importantly, a CRD does not raise taxes. A CRD does not divert existing revenues. Only future growth in assessed value is considered, and participation by other taxing entities like the county is completely voluntary. The CRD board and governance structure is mandated by state law, and it requires that the governing board be established concurrently with the timing of the resolution of intent. Staff is recommending that the initial CRD board be composed of 3 members of City Council and 2 members of the public appointed by Council. This structure allows the city to move forward while preserving flexibility. So for instance, if San Bernardino County elects to participate at a later date, the board composition would be modified to comply with EIFD and CRD law and county proposal preferences, either by restructuring the seats or by converting one council-appointed seat out of the 3 to an at-large position to accommodate enough county representation on the board. So the next steps, if council adopts the resolution of intent tonight, we will have the CRD board formed. We'll convene that board. We'll adopt, the board structure and meeting schedule, and then we'll direct the participation or the preparation of the infrastructure financing plan. We can also expect coordination with San Bernardino County, including submission of a proposal for county participation in this project. The development and public review of the infrastructure financing plan, which is the pivotal part of the district's purpose. There'll be multiple public hearings, and then we'll return to City Council and potentially the County Board of Supervisors for a full consideration of the project. So at each stage, the city retains a full discretion to proceed and modify the process accordingly. So importantly, there are 3 motions provided on the staff report. The city attorney has clarified that the first two motions need to be adopted first, and that is, we established that the adoption of the resolution is exempt from CEQA. Then we formally adopt the resolution. Then discussion can continue for item 3, which would be the appointment of 3 city council members to the board and discussion of a process on appointing members of the public to round out the board. And so,
Thank you for the clarification. Any questions?
I do. So this is going to be a Brown Act board since we have 3 members of the council, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we weren't in violation of Brown Act.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? I do want to thank the staff and the university for being able to come up with this plan, to be able to see a vision of completion and a financing vehicle that will allow us to move forward with this. I have a little bit of experience prior to being on the city council with tax increment formulas in the adoption of the North Redlands Revitalization Project area. So I'm hoping that when we get to number 3 on the motion, consider that as well. So are there any other questions or comments? No? Okay. I don't have any speaker slips on this item. I don't see any on Zoom. What's the wish of the council?
I move that City Council find the adoption of Resolution Number 8738 is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15301B4 and B5 of the CEQA Guidelines, and I move to adopt Resolution 8738, declaring its intention to establish a Redlands Resiliency District. Did I say that right? And establish Redlands CDR Board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on items 1 and 2.
Councilmember Barrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Cecito.
Yes.
So then now the discussion will move to that point number 3, talking about which 3 council members would like to sit on the CRD board.
I'd like to nominate Mayor Salcedo.
I'd like to propose that it be the mayor pro tem, and that if we would like a rotation of us of the third, that we could rotate amongst. That way, we each get a turn, being the third person.
Can we do that, City Attorney?
We have our EIFD expert on the line. That's John DeChristina. He's been helping us with the resolution and the formation of the board. So I'll let him speak to that question. Hi, John.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. So I have the statute in front of me. If you're curious, ladies and gentlemen, this is Government Code Section 53398.51.1. This is under the EIFD statute rather than the CRD statute, but the CRD statute references over to the EIFD statute. That's a lot of information to throw at you, but just wanted to let you know where I'm coming from. So the rule, so far you've got, if it's just the one agency, so far it's just the city. I know we're looking forward to hopefully having the county involved as well. But with one agency, the rule is that it's a 5-member board with 3 members from the council and 2 members from the public. And the only rule is that it has to be 3 members of the legislative body, and that you may appoint one of your members to be an alternate who serves in place of a member who's absent or disqualifies themselves. So what I would suggest is to name 3 people, but then you can have 2 alternates who can cycle through if one or more of the other individuals are not able to attend the meeting. So that would be my recommendation to accommodate what you just described.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. So for right now, we have appointment of myself, Mayor Pro Tem, and Councilmember Davis, and then Councilmember Barrich and Eddie will serve as alternates.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay, let's take action on that.
Okay, that's the motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Cecito.
Yes.
So that would leave then our last discussion, which is how you want to go about appointing the 2 members that are from the public. And John, could you guide us through that?
Yeah, there aren't really a lot of restrictions here. You have a lot of discretion. So let me step back and give a little more context. So right now, because officially as of tonight, we've only got the city involved, and so the statute says, okay, it's a 5-member board, 3 from the council, 2 from the public. Once you expand, so let's assume that the county gets involved, then the only 2 rules are that a majority of the board needs to come from the legislative bodies of the 2 agencies, and then there are at least 2 members of the public, right? So that gives you even more room to move around. And so if you wanted, 2 from the council, 2 from the board of supervisors, and then 3 members from the public, that would give you that majority and at least 2 members from the public, but still an odd-numbered board so that, it's easier to operate. But as far as the process that you take to appoint those members of the public, that is at your discretion. I would just recommend, that you follow the typical procedures that you would use for other standing committees that the city has. That varies around the state. Redlands probably has your own process that you're comfortable with, that people are familiar with. So you could, so that procedurally, whatever you all are comfortable with, whatever you have in place. Substantively, how many members of the public do you appoint? You could do something similar to what you just did with the council. So for example, name 3 people, 2 of whom are actual sitting members, the third who's an alternate who then maybe becomes a sitting member. If you expand and the county comes in and you want to expand the board to bring on more people, again, as long as you have that majority coming from the 2 agency governing bodies. But yeah, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a lawyer. I always choose 5 words when I could use 1. But that's basically bottom line is you've got a bunch of discretion
John,
here as
I
to
think
how
I'll
you
jump
do
in
this.
on this one. I think our normal process that we undergo for our regular commissions, where we advertise, we get some applications, you can form a subcommittee, interview those members of the public who might be interested in serving on this board, and then bring a recommendation back to the council as to who those 2 might be. That might be a good process, a familiar process at least, but it's not the only one.
I was also going to suggest if based on the 3 people that are assigned to the board at this point, that maybe those 2 from the public come from outside of our districts, so that we have representation throughout the community, not just from, I wouldn't, maybe if it's going to be Councilmember Davis and us, and she's the primary of the council people, then somebody comes from District 2, somebody comes from District 5, kind of like we do with Measure T, just to have that. So I don't know if that works the same if we kind of do this alternate and rotation thing, but maybe that's how we start it, and we focus on a representative from each of those 2. That's just a thought.
I think it's a
I
great
appreciate that.
recommendation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll agree to that.
City Manager?
I just wanted to check, when we advertise, is it the wish of the council to advertise for solely people to apply that are from those 2 districts? Or would you like to get all applications, but with the knowledge that you'll give preference to those 2 districts if you have a sufficient pool apply from those districts?
And you could use, if you wanted to create an alternate or 2 out of those, besides that would be an option as well. So I'm fine with opening it up, but what with 2 and 4 being the preference, if that's.
So you guys could do that criteria. So as far as staff goes, we'll just advertise these 2 positions. We'll just advertise these 2 positions and see what applications we get, as we do normally for our boards and commissions.
I see a consensus here on the council to move in that direction.
Okay, that,
You need a motion and a second, or how do we do that?
No, we do.
Okay.
there's no objection?
Okay.
No objections?
No
Okay.
objection, we'll move in that direction.
But do we need to do this motion, though, for number 3? Because we haven't done.
Yes, you need to appoint the 3 council members.
I move to appoint Mayor Salcedo, Mayor Pro Tem Shaw, Councilmember Davis to be the primary members from the council.
And first alternate and second alternate.
And the first alternate, Councilmember Barrich, and myself as the second alternate.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Sessito.
Yes. Moving on to item J2, which is a consideration of a sole source invoice payment to Systems and Software, Inc. for support of the enQuesta utility database customer management in the amount of $291,207 for annual software hosting, maintenance, and support. Finance Services Director Garcia.
Thank you again, Mayor and members of the council. This item, much like its title suggests, is the sole source approval of a payment to Systems and Software. They are the sole provider of the enQuesta utility database software maintenance and support. And the dollar amount is $291,207. And if there are any questions, staff is available to provide more information.
Any questions for Director Garcia? Any comments? No public comments? No public comments on Zoom? What's the wish of the council?
I move to approve payment of the invoice to Systems and Software, Inc., providers of the city's utility billing software, in an amount of $291,207 for annual software hosting, maintenance, and support for the calendar year 2026.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Sessito.
Yes. Moving on to item J3, consideration of a public works construction contract with Matich Corporation for the Pavement Management Program 2025 Street Resurfacing Project for an amount not to exceed $5,566,094. Approval of an additional appropriations in the amount of $1,566,094, and determination that the project is categorically exempt from the environmental review pursuant to Section 15301 of the state guidelines for implementing the California Environmental Quality Act. Interim Municipal Utilities and Engineering. Casey, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the City Council. The item before you is the city's annual street rehabilitation resurfacing project for 2025. The city's 2025 Pavement Management Program identifies the scheduled maintenance and reconstruction activities in city streets. And pursuant to that program, the city will have completed a total of 180 lane miles of street rehabilitation, including 40 lane miles.
Sure. Oh, oh, thank you. Shall I start over? Okay. Pursuant to that program, the city will have completed a total of 180 lane miles of street rehabilitation, including the 40 lane miles associated with this project since 2020, which is pretty significant. Based on plans and specification prepared by staff and in response to the bid advertising, 7 bids were received for the project, and Matich Corporation is deemed to be the apparent lowest responsible bidder. As you mentioned, this project is categorically exempt from CEQA as it consists of street resurfacing. And with that, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, staff recommends that the City Council approve the actions listed in your staff report. And both the city engineer, Godum Dobie, and myself are available if you have any questions regarding this item.
Thank you, Director Casey. Any questions from the council to staff? Hearing none, I don't have any speaker slips. I don't see anybody on Zoom.
I move that the City Council determine approval of the contract and construction of the PMP 2025 Street Resurfacing Project is categorically exempt from environmental review in accordance with Section 15301 of the state's guidelines implementing the California Environmental Quality Act. I move that the City Council approve the PMP 2025 Street Resurfacing Project plans and specifications and award a public works construction contract to Matich Corporation for an amount not to exceed $5,566,094. And I move that the City Council approve an additional appropriation in the amount of $1,566,094.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Sessito.
Yes. Item J4, consideration of an agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc. in the amount of $3,544,704.03 for body-worn cameras, equipment, software, and drone as a first responder, virtual reality, and justice suite, and approval of an additional appropriations of and $940.79 from the general fund unassigned fund balance at an Asset Forfeiture Fund, Police Chief Tober.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor and Council. The item before you is a consideration of this agreement with Axon Enterprise. And this is a 5-year contract that provides all new body-worn cameras, which also includes the Justice Suite. And some of the many benefits in this transition to the new body-worn cameras include the ease of data sharing with the District Attorney's Office as they use the Axon Justice System, less time spent by staff in manual operations like redactions and downloading a video so they can spend more time assisting and working with our public, consolidation of all of our digital evidence into one system, automated transcription for more accurate and more timely reports, translation services through the cameras, and it's also a CJIS compliant method for sharing case information with our justice partners. While we currently have drones, the benefit of the drone as a first responder include the addition of 3 Skydio X10 autonomous flight by remote pilot drones that would be strategically positioned in enclosed docking stations throughout the city that would give us a near complete city coverage with response times under 2 minutes. Drone as first responder consistently demonstrate improvements in officer and community safety, faster incident resolution and response times, reduced use of force, and the ability to assist all other city departments. No other vendor offers a comparable integrated solution with the same level of interoperability, CJIS compliance, and support. Axon's platform is widely adopted across law enforcement agencies, and it's considered the industry standard amongst localized partners and agencies. And in packaging multiple tools in the contract, Axon provides a substantial reduction in cost, which makes the additional resources more affordable. The first year would be paid in part through asset forfeiture funds, and the remaining balance will be funded through general funds, unallocated funds. Funding for subsequent fiscal years will be requested in the police department's next biennial budget. So we thank you for your consideration of this item, and staff and I am happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Just have a comment. I think this is fantastic, especially nowadays. This is money well spent. It protects the public. It protects our safety officers. And this is going to be a pleasure to vote yes on this one.
Yeah, Chief, I obviously support this. I think it's a great thing. I know that one of the questions that comes up anytime we start talking about drone surveillance, et cetera, is the privacy concern. My understanding is that when these, from the time they launch until the time that they get to wherever they're headed, their cameras are facing up. There's not any video. There's not any surveillance. They go to the event. They handle that. And they go back. Same thing. So they're not tracking things or people, unless obviously it's a fleeing vehicle or a suspect vehicle or something like that.
Correct. That
so
is
we don't have a
correct.
privacy concern there.
No, that is correct.
Okay, and then all of that from the time they launch to the time they come back is recorded. So if there ever was a question, somebody can look at that video to confirm that wasn't happening.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I had a couple of questions. What other local agencies are using this same system is number one. The other one was, reading through the staff report, most of the comment, that the compatibility and features of this system allows for saving of staff time and having to go back and research and do that. So that's a great benefit for that. So I'm encouraged by that. The other one was I noticed that they're going to provide 10 more of the license plate readers. Have you have a plan to install those at some of the higher license plate readers and then put those other license plate readers somewhere else that maybe don't have any kind of coverage?
So there were several questions.
So the first one was, what other agencies are using the same system?
So in regards to the first question, most of the agencies within the county are utilizing the system. And the second part kind of ties into that in terms of the data sharing. Really, the current system that we're on right now is very cumbersome in terms of a lot of manual work. And that's because all of our cases that we take and we submit to the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office, we have a lot of digital evidence. And so by this transition, it will be just a much more routine automatic ability to share data through the system. And the current camera system that we have is not compatible with that. So everything is manual redaction of video, manual downloading, and distribution. So that's where the time comes in addition to the automated dictation of reports. So that takes time from officers typing out the reports to having that manual dictation. They still will have to go through and review for accuracy and submit, but it cuts down on time, allowing them more time in the field. Does that answer the first two?
And then the other one was
The third was about the cameras.
the license plate readers.
Absolutely. So
high volume readers are put a better system in.
Yeah, so currently we have 55 ALPRs throughout the city. So we'll have to look and see where exactly we want to put them. The reason and the thought process behind this is because these ALPRs will be tied into the system, and so it'll allow us to test and see how all those data systems work together. And we haven't discussed exactly where they will be.
But we're not getting rid of the 55 flock ones that we have right away.
That is correct.
Those will stay until we figure out if this transition is the right way to go.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that is correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Entertain a motion.
I move to approve an agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc. in the amount of $3,544,704.03 for body-worn camera equipment, software, DFR, virtual reality, and Justice Suite. Approve an additional appropriation of $708,940.79 from the general fund's unassigned fund balance and asset forfeiture fund.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Saucedo.
Yes. Item J5, consideration of ordinance number 2988 to amend and restate Chapter 6.05 of the Redlands Municipal Code relating to regulations of potentially dangerous and vicious dogs, Facility and Community Services Department Director Crocker.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The Animal Services Division for the Facilities and Community Services Department oversees both animal control enforcement and the operations of the shelter. Currently, there are sections of the city's code within Chapter 6.05 that are outdated to current standards. This amendment will update definitions, clarify procedures for declaring a dog as potentially dangerous or vicious, and enhance enforcement measures. The proposed amendment was carefully reviewed and aligned with best practices and legal standards to ensure clarity, consistency, and enforcement. The staff report provides a summary of those changes, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, any questions from staff?
This has been reviewed by council, right?
Outside counsel, yes.
Yes.
That's the first one. I don't have any speaker slips, and I don't see anybody on Zoom. I do want to commend whoever found it or how this came about to update these parts of our animal control ordinances, because I think it's long overdue. I think some of the challenges of trying to go just on subjective evaluations was kind of cumbersome. And now with this, it allows a little more objective investigations and administrative recourse. So I appreciate whoever did that. So.
I will let all of those that were involved, yes.
Yeah, so thank you. Okay, so we have a motion?
Move to introduce ordinance number 2988.
Motion and a second? Second was by Davis?
Yeah.
Councilmember, okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Saucedo.
Yes. Item J6, consideration of ordinance number 2989 and resolution number 8716, amending chapter 6.24 of the Redlands Municipal Code relating to noisy animals and authorizing the implementation procedures. Facilities and Community Services Director Crocker.
Thank you, Mayor.
Give you a different name.
Thank you again. So similar to the last item, this is an update to Chapter 6.24 of the city's code relating to the noisy animals. The amendment provides greater clarity of what constitutes a violation, the factors considered in determining a violation, and the associated exemptions. It also provides clarity to the administrative process for the lodging of complaints, investigation, and enforcement. Overall, the amendments aim to improve the city's ability to address excessive animal noise complaints while protecting the rights of animal owners. And again, the staff report contains a summary of those changes, and I'm available for any questions.
Any questions from staff? I don't have any speaker slips. I don't see anybody on Zoom. What's the wish of the council?
I move to introduce ordinance number 2989, and I move to adopt resolution number 8716.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Saucedo.
Yes. Moving on to item J7, this is a consideration of resolution number 8745, approving agreements for the improvements to the State Street City Hall facility for a total amount not to exceed $16,145,665.95, and an additional appropriation of the amount of $16,145,665.95 to the Safety Hall Replacement Fund, and determine the approval is exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15061(3)B of the state guidelines implementing the California Environmental Quality Act. Assistant City Manager Boatman.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We're very pleased to bring you the staff report. It's been a long time coming. As far back as we were able to tell, the city moved into this current city hall around the late 80s. Some people may notice that parts of it are looking a little long in the tooth, and we've estimated through a series of studies that it needs tens of millions of dollars in upgrades and repairs. Fortunately for the city, in late 2020, we were presented a very unique opportunity to buy the tower at 300 East State Street for really a bargain basement price through a local individual who was very helpful in that transaction. So since then, we've been working towards today, which is awarding a contract to renovate the structure to eventually make it the new home of the city. It's been a while since we've been able to get everything in place because the building was full of tenants, and we wanted to work cooperatively with everybody to try to help give them time for relocation and help their agreements naturally term out as opposed to having to force anything. So over the last year and a half, we've been working with Miller Architecture, all of our staff, and more recently Tilden, the general contractor who's going to be overseeing the work and the subs on all the design aspects to get this building ready for us to occupy. So there's been a lot of work in it, and a lot of people have put a lot of time into trying to create a good plan, a plan that made good financial sense for the city and would be a good home for us for years to come. So with that, I have two different presentations for you tonight. First, I'm going to call up Gary Miller, the architect, to give you just an overview of the project. You've seen this before in parts, and we're going to give it to you one more time as a refresher. And then if you have any questions specific to the design for him, if you could ask that of him before he sits down. And then after Gary's done, I'm going to ask Tilden Coyle to come up, and they're going to talk to you specifically about the construction schedule. And you can also, if you have any questions specifically about the cost breakdown, Tilden Coyle can answer those questions. So again, I'm going to ask Gary to come up right now, give you an overview of the project, and if you have a question about the project design, you can ask him, or scope. Thanks.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Gary Miller with Miller Architecture. First, may I just say, as a citizen of Redlands, as well as someone who has his business here, I appreciate your leadership and all of the work that you put in. It goes unseen and sometimes unappreciated, and I appreciate it. We do have a PowerPoint presentation, and I believe this is what I can use to advance the slides. Yes. May I also make one digression? This is my 40th year in business, and I've worked with city staff probably every single one of those 40th years. And city has always had excellent development, community development staff. And Mr. Desatnik has been a great person to work with. I think he's represented the city well, and he's also enabled development to go in an organized fashion. So enough of that. We noticed that when we took this project on, we had one goal to make this building a true city hall engaged with the community. And to that end, we saw the opportunity to take the plaza. The slide the photograph on the upper left-hand side is what it looks like today, and we think that's somewhat of a barrier, a little bit of imposing. It doesn't really invite you into the city hall. So moving to the slide on the upper right, we're planning to take that down, open that up, create a stairway that leads directly from State Street into the plaza and make that plaza much more available to the public. There's still a cafe inside that we want to preserve, and therefore there's a lot of hospitality opportunities there as well. And hospitality makes people feel welcome. The slide in the lower right is a portal or a gate that we've proposed that has a citrus theme about it, leading to our heritage, and again, inviting the public into the City Hall. And finally, the slide on the lower left is the plaza itself. It has generous landscaping and some seating that presently is not there. The seating is very durable, so it should take the abuse that it gets being outside. This is the ground floor plan. It hasn't changed a lot from what you saw when we first presented this to you. The sort of a blue-gray color is the lobby, and the access into the council chambers, which is represented by the orange color. One of our purposes here, it was very important to city staff that we make directions and things easy to find for the public, and that has been accomplished with a direct access to the city council chambers, and then you make a quick right turn to that yellow area, and that is finance and other administration. To the right of that, the salmon-colored area is development services, all very available to the public. A little bit further to the right is a small conference room for people visiting the city and meeting with staff, and it's right there in its meeting. It's very efficient. So those are the primary items. One last thing, the upper left corner, the chartreuse, a little higher and to the right, that color right there. We have a closed session room immediately off the council chambers itself, so that's easily accessible. And then below that is the audio-visual space so that they can see what's going on in the chambers itself. Next, these are renderings of the public lobby. We wanted to make that more bright and inviting. If you walked in there recently, it's a little dark, and so this brightens it up. We raise the ceiling a little bit, make it feel a little more spacious. There's some seating that you can see there that, again, it gives it an air of hospitality and welcome. Secondly, the lower image has a information desk with a person on the far right, and then that person can also control the elevator and access to the upper floors. The council chambers itself, the slide in the upper right, we preserved the skylight that is in the City Bank building, and that brings in a lot of light. That also allows light to escape so that at night people can see that the city is functioning. Secondly, the council chambers itself has a lot of video screens so the public can see what's going on. The glass you see to the right is on the east side of the building, and again gives this openness and this, I'd like to say it's a symbol of transparent and open government, which I think is a good message to send to the community. Secondly, it has very modern public voting system. You don't have to do the roll call anymore. That'll speed up council functions. There are monitors for the public to see, as I mentioned earlier, and technology allowing remote access and remote public comment. Outside, we just wanted you to see the effect of keeping that skylight, and we have some uplighting in the skylight to make this a real landmark for the city. And again, this is the east side of what is now, or was, Citibank building and will become the city council chambers. And we kept the windows again so that people can watch government in action. Signage and identity this will be the city hall. People will know that from a good distance off. Next, we've purchased or will be including a facade access system that has some immediate benefits because the building windows need to be sealed, the building needs to be painted, so that will help reduce the cost of those construction activities. Then we will retain that, and it will reduce the cost of window cleaning and maintenance as the building ages. There's other deferred maintenance, air conditioning. The switchgear in the city is quite old, and so that's being upgraded. A lot of you can't repair a lot of the circuitry because it's just not available anymore, so we need new equipment there. Finally, the banking drive-through area is going to be torn down and increase the amount of parking available. So be happy to answer any questions, or if you don't have any, I'll turn it over to Tilden Coyle for budget and schedule.
Are there any immediate questions before we move on to the next presentation by Tilden Coyle?
There's just one really quick question. The ADA access is still on the far east side of the building, correct?
There is an emergency exit on the east side of the building, but the access, there is an ADA access on the north side that we don't need, and that's what is the back of the council now. So the ADA access is actually on the north side of the building. There'll be a ramp there, and on the back side, south side of the building.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Evening, Council, Chiefs, and staff. My name is Matt Breyer with Tilden Coyle Constructors. Assistant City Manager Boatman asked me to speak to you a little bit about our schedule.
We had one more slide. I don't know if it made it on the presentation with the,
maybe
it looks like it may not have.
No, did not. So sorry about that. So I'll just go through kind of general milestones for the project. It's going to start in February with the approval of your contracts tonight. We'll get those issued, get all the compliance ready, and start at the first part of February. The office building renovations 2 through 6, will finish in September. The site and the plaza work will finish in October of 26, with the building exterior painting, window sealing, and the facade access. And as Gary mentioned, the facade access is not just to make it more convenient, it's to make access to that work OSHA compliant. Right now, I think they've been working with boatsmen's chairs, and they need that access to do the kind of work that's going to happen up there. And that will finish in January of 27. And the chambers and all the first floor renovations will finish in April of 27 as well. That'll be our substantial completion for the project. I'm going to go a little bit off script if you don't mind. We're really excited. The city received 81 unique bids for all of these trade packages, these 15 trade packages. That's on average, over 5 per package. And I think that's pretty impressive results. You get great competition, and you've got a lot of great local, you've got 3 city-owned contractors, a fourth one that's San Bernardino-based, that is, the owner lives in Redlands. So you have a lot of local contractors that are going to be doing your work. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think that's always of interest on our city council, how many local contractors and businesses that we have here to maintain the rotation over the economic dollar. So thank you so much for that. Any questions for Tilden Coyle? Nope. Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.
I'll turn it back over to Mr. Boatman. Do you have anything else to conclude the report?
No, just again to thank the project team for all their hard work in getting this ready. I also want to thank our staff. Tricia Swope works in the Facilities and Community Services Department. She did a tremendous amount of work for this, and of course, our unsung hero, the city attorney, was instrumental in everything you heard tonight. So, just want to thank everybody.
No, you can tell that there was a tremendous amount of work, research by everybody to get to this point of the staff report. We can see it. We appreciate it. And again, I don't have any speakers. Oh, we do have one speaker slip, one Zoom commenter. Mr. Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Rich O'Donnell, it is your turn to speak.
Good evening. There is no doubt that the spending on the new City Hall will continue. Like many citizens, I am looking forward to seeing the return on investment, perhaps in the form of a tax cut due to improved efficiency or something like that. I'm also looking forward to a personal visit from Santa next week. The sources that are listed for the latest round of expenditures are varied, but I would like to comment on just one. Excuse me. Fund 250, Park Development, for $1 million. If the council approves this item, they will have reallocated almost $2.25 million from assorted parks and open space accounts in just 1 month. As the annual report in item H9 stated, the general plan sets the policy on park development as one aimed towards creating and maintaining a high-quality, diversified park system that enhances Redlands' unique attributes. I would like to suggest that one might take a look at Prospect Park, somewhat unique and only a mile up the hill. $1 million would have gone a long way towards restoring the roads and curbs, irrigation, trees, and other vegetation. You know, things that make a high-quality park. It should have already been spent. That's pretty much all I have to say, except I am looking forward to maybe hearing another explanation on why it is perfectly reasonable to spend funds specifically designated for something on something completely different. Thank you, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I have a speaker slip, Mr. Bruce Laycook.
Good evening, council members and city staff. Obviously, this was a lot of work that took a very, very long time to come to fruition. I do have one question. I didn't see any mention of solar as a part of this $16 million project. And that's a big building that's going to have a fairly significant power demand, and we're going to have more parking spaces. I was just wondering if anyone considered putting solar-covered areas out in the parking lot so that we can offset the power generation, because we're going to have upgraded air conditioning demands. That building is going to be full of people all year long, and you know what Redlands is like in the summer. So I would just like someone to speak to that if they could. Thank you.
Okay.
I'd be happy to. So with respect to the last question first, we did consider solar. It's actually part of our climate action plan to look at installing upgrades, energy efficiency upgrades to all our facilities. We didn't include it with this stage of the project for a couple of reasons. Number one, just the cost factor of the upfront, and also we wanted to wrap it into looking at other programs and grants to help fund the installation. So we have a new climate action individual that's looking at opportunities for not just this building, but also the police station, which, by the way, the police station, because of the size of the roof surface, is being designed for solar up front, although the funding for that is still being sought. But to answer, I guess to put a bow on this answer, we did consider solar. It's not included with stage one, but it is part of our climate action goals. And then with respect to the second question on the park, the use of park development impact fees, first I want to give a little distinction. There was an action council took earlier this year, or later in the fall, where there was money allocated from Palmetto Groves to fund the fire station design. That's different from park development impact fees. Park development impact fees cannot be used to do park maintenance. You can only use it to expand park amenities to help address the growing population. The reason why we felt like this is an acceptable use of park development impact fees is because Right now, obviously, Ed Hales Park is a heavily used park on Lower State Street. Upper State Street does not have a park area. So this area is being designed as a supplemental gathering place that can be used in a similar capacity, and also to support Upper State Street and hopefully bring in that type of economic development you see at Lower State Street and around Ed Hales Park to Upper State Street. That's why we're opening the walls up. We're adding we're adding quite a bit of seating. We're adding pre-wiring for a PA system and lighting. So it's being specifically designed to be used as an outdoor recreating space for the community in that location as well. And that concludes my answers for those questions.
Thank you very much for the clarification. It does make sense. And are there any other comments or questions for staff?
Comments. Yeah, I was going, one of my reports is attended the library board, and this goes to our general contractor, Tilden Coyle. How long has it been since we started the museum, and we're still not in it yet? So I'm a little concerned about the general contractor getting things done. It's still a lot of things that aren't with the museum, and I want to be able to get in City Hall in my lifetime. So I have reservations about Tilden Coyle. My experience so far doing stuff at the city I'm not very, very impressed with. So I'd like to question that. It just, and I understand that construction doesn't always go the way it should. It's a beautiful thing. I have no problem with the architect whatsoever. It's nice to have somebody in town doing it as well. It looks fantastic. But again, I just have some reservations about Tilden Coyle getting things done on time.
So let me address that in a couple of ways. First off, I want to just point out the Tilden Coyle contract is not part of this package you have in front of you. Their contract, which is the general, which is a pre-construction and construction contract, was actually awarded in 2024. So they're already under contract. However, this was actually brought up back then as well, and I'll probably let Tilden address.
I brought it up, that's why.
You did, right, and I'll let probably Tilden address this in more detail for you since they're physically present. But I think there was a big distinction in how the two jobs are being run. With our job, we brought them in as a general contractor and construction consultant up front, and they're running all of the subs simultaneously in a traditional way, but in a way where they're in a lot more control, I think, over the timing than perhaps would happen with the museum. So maybe, Matt, if you don't mind coming up here and just answering that question more directly.
Thank you again, Councilman Barrich. I do remember your comments earlier about the museum a year or two ago when that came up. And I think what's important to recognize the difference in the delivery methods is the Museum Association started that project with about 50% of the funding to finish it. We were able to finish the exterior of that project, the shell and core, if you will, and the pavilion area. And then a year plus later, I think they raised the rest of the funds, re-engaged us to finish the project. There are some ongoing issues with some ceiling shades and some air conditioning things that we're sorting through. They're very specific, they're very unique. The air conditioning system in a museum, as you can imagine, is very unique. And so we're still sorting those out. We have not gone away on that. That's something that our team is working on weekly with Museum Association folks. And so that would be my best description on why the museum hasn't been fully occupied. I think it's been substantial completion was in February. Am I correct with that? Yeah, February. So I think the museum staff has been putting together displays since that point in time. Just to describe this delivery method, we are being engaged as a construction manager. So we're your agent, the city's agent in this case. We're professional service. The city will hold the contracts. We will manage those contracts as though we're your agent. So we are not a general contractor in this delivery method. And this gives us the ability to negotiate changes on your behalf, not as a general contractor. Again, as Mr. Boatman said, we've also been engaged for the last 8-10 months reviewing these plans, making sure they're ready to go to bid, that are the right set of plans for your project so that they're complete and you get solid, respective bids for this project. So I'd like to answer any other questions you may have.
Well, I just want to point out one more item on this. So the two issues that are pending right now at the museum, which Matt mentioned, are the air conditioning system and the tile system. Those have nothing to do with Tilden. Those were spec'd out specifically for the museum by the project architect and the team that designed it, and those are separate subs, so they're specializations. So the air conditioning sub, that installed a system that was specifically spec'd out for it, and that's where they're encountering the issues. It's an issue with the design of the actual system and how it was manufactured. And then the ceiling tile system was a design that came from the project designer too. And there apparently is an issue with the waterproofing membrane. Those aren't issues of Tilden's. Tilden made sure everything was installed exactly as specified. Those were design flaws. And they're working through them, and they haven't. And to their credit, they haven't left the job. Their warranty periods lapsed in some areas, and they're standing by everything that's been done there. And I also want to say they've been absolutely fantastic with the pre-construction phase of this project. They've gone above and beyond, I feel, in making sure that every T's been crossed and every I dotted before we start construction. So I think that distinction and the fact that this is fully funded will give you hopefully an outcome that you'll be happy with.
So I just want to make sure the conversation and the discussion for this item is strictly for the City Hall building and its contract.
Yeah, and thank you. I was trying to help give a comfort level that this particular project is on good footing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, what's the wish? I don't see any other speaker slips or nothing on Zoom.
We have a speaker slip. It was just turned in.
I move that the City Council approve resolution number 8745.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Barrich.
Yes.
Councilmember Tejeda.
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Shaw.
Yes.
Mayor Cecido.
Yes. Thank you. That comes to item K, individual council member announcements or reports, and we'll start over with you, Councilmember Barrich.
As I stated before, I was at the library board meeting, and we actually had it at the building itself. And again, I hate to be, throw cold water on this, especially during the holiday season, but my wife and I were also donators to the museum, and we're kind of anxious to see it come to fruition again one of these days. Anyway, also attended the Redlands Police Officers Association Christmas party. Thank you very much, officers, for inviting us. It was a great party. Also was in the Christmas parade. I'm the one that was in that beautiful red brand new Corvette, so I got to ride in style. So in the meantime, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a good New Year.
Thank you. I actually attended a 2-day League of Cities workshop out in Rancho Mirage. It was for league leaders and part of the LGBTQ caucus board. So that's how I got the invitation. And it was a great workshop to sort of shape the league priorities as we move forward. I was also in the Christmas parade and attended the RPOA Christmas party. So many Christmas things. Went to the Burridge Mansion, which was fantastic. Attended our annual holiday block party at the community center. Kudos to city staff. It's getting better every year, especially as I have a small child. I have a new appreciation for the work that goes into these city events. We had a great time. Highlight for sure was my son getting to sit in and pretend to drive the trash truck.
The fire truck, too.
Yeah, he loves the fire truck. We did the fire truck in the parade, which was a lot of fun. I know I'm forgetting something, but it's been a busy holiday season. I'll turn it over to Mayor Salcido.
Councilmember Tejeda?
Thank you, Mayor. I also attended the Redlands Police Officer Association Christmas celebration. Thank you very much for the invitation in that. I was also part of the Christmas parade. I did not get to ride in a Corvette. Not happy about. No, just kidding. I'm happy to be in it. I'm happy to be in it no matter what, even if I'm walking. I went to Senator Eloise Gomez Reyes's toy drive, and I also attended the Christmas block party at the Joe R. Gonzalez Community Center.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
I just wanted to take an opportunity to thank all of our city staff for their hard work throughout the year. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and it's often quite thankless. So thank you to all of them. Thank you especially to our first responders who will be out there throughout the holidays while people are celebrating and enjoying and having time off. Yet our police and fire and on-call staff will still be working to keep the city moving forward and making sure that we can meet the needs of our residents. So with that, I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas or whatever you choose to celebrate, and we'll see you next year. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. I attended a few of the same events that has already been reported out. I will report out that the city and the recreation dedicated the new sports park out behind Citrus Valley High School, Collazo Sports Park. So thank you for that, staff, for putting that on together. Also had a meeting with some of our Amazon representatives. We had the Wreaths Across America ceremony up at Hillside. And then again, and for myself too, I want to wish all of our city employees, all our families, all the citizens of Redlands a very Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year, and blessings to all. That concludes our City Council report, and we'll see you next year. What is the next date of our City Council meeting?
January 20th.
January 20th. We'll see you next year. Thank you.